Have you ever paused to consider if perhaps everything you're currently engaged in is steering you away from the very reason you were born? It's true, the majority dedicate their existence to a constant race, scurrying to settle debts, meet predetermined goals, and please those around them, neglecting to halt and ponder. What prompts me to rise each dawn? The sincere response from many would be, because I'm obligated to work. But tell me, does that resonate as a life's purpose or a sentence of confinement? If you're hearing this currently, it's no mere coincidence. You're poised to discover that your true aim resides within you. It's not something to invent, but rather to unearth. And rest assured, it won't necessitate countless years. However, you must be willing to undertake what few are, to pause and introspect. I don't subscribe to the notion that one opts for their purpose. I believe it's something one uncovers, and that reframes everything. Because as long as you're attempting to decide on your life's pursuit, as though selecting an ice cream flavor, you'll remain confined to the realm of logic, comparisons, and external pressures. Your purpose transcends logic. It's a spiritual calling originating from within, and it's present even now, awaiting your quieting the world's clamor to be heard. Throughout many years, I mirrored everyone else. I pursued the right path, trialing this, engaging in that, stumbling here, accumulating some wealth there only to lose it later. And each time I faltered, I questioned, is this truly it? Have you ever caught yourself pondering similarly? The crux of the matter lies in the prevailing belief that purpose is divine through others' counsel. You possess a knack for this. Pursue it. This yields income. Tread this route. Be pragmatic. Yet, tell me, how many of those pronouncements genuinely resonate as your own? Your purpose isn't a rational choice. It's an emotional and spiritual revelation that, above all, demands stillness. This is why it eludes the grasp of many, because they're excessively occupied to heed the sole voice that matters, the inner one. I vividly recall a juncture when my cleaning enterprise flourished. Substantial wealth accrued, a comfortable existence enjoyed, yet inwardly, something was amiss. I possessed all society deemed desirable, yet I felt hollow. Have you traversed such an experience? Where outward appearances suggest harmony, yet an inner voice silently cries out. It was only upon ceasing, literally halting everything, and retreating to a ranch in Clear Lake Oaks, California, for a 3-day respite from the world's din, that I finally felt. No mystical voice resonated, no celestial light appeared. I simply felt. I sensed my purpose, to aid individuals in unearthing their authentic selves and awakening to their inherent power. That constituted the pivotal moment. At that ranch, with pen in hand and an open heart, I inscribed, "My purpose is to live and work in a prosperous environment that stimulates productivity and pleasure, to render greater service to my family, company, community, nation, and the world." And indeed, that radically transformed my existence. Henceforth, each stride I took, each decision I rendered, was guided by that course. It infused meaning into my mornings, focus into my days, and a unique radiance into my nights. The quantum of my earnings ceased to matter. The why superseded everything. But I apprehend that perhaps you're pondering, I lack the time to sequester myself on a ranch and script my purpose. And that's acceptable. A 3-day retreat isn't requisite. All you need is 10 minutes each day. Arise somewhat earlier. Settle into silence, disconnect from your cellular device, and question yourself, unhurriedly and without judgment. If I could dedicate my existence to a singular pursuit, what would ignite my vitality? This query might not elicit an immediate response, and that's permissible. The mind wanders, but the soul whispers. Hence, repetition is crucial daily for a month, 2, or even 3 if needed. But persevere, because eventually that response will surface, not as a mere concept, but as a silent conviction. And upon its emergence, you'll sense it, within your body, your heart, your very gaze. I've witnessed this transpire with a man named Marinos. As an immigrant, he earned $1 hourly, cleaning offices, unable to drive, with limited English proficiency, yet something within him vibrated. I challenged him, "Acquire a car and I'll teach you to drive." I arose at 5 in the morning for several weeks to assist him, Swiftly, he established his own enterprise, followed by another and yet another, amassing wealth and fulfillment. But the most striking aspect was his facilitating the growth of others. His purpose manifested through action. He realized he wasn't destined to be merely another individual, but rather to leave a legacy. And that applies equally to you. Perhaps you deem your current occupation unrelated to your purpose. Yet what if that very occupation is preparing you? What if that pain, that frustration, that void is carving the space from which the response will emerge? You possess greater power than you conceive, but you must cease seeking external answers and commence internal exploration. For when you unearth your purpose, everything shifts. The energy transforms, the individuals around you change, opportunities materialize, and most importantly, you ultimately grasp the reason for your existence. And frankly, discerning why you arise each morning is the paramount concern. Have you noticed the ease with which one can become lost in the world's cacophony? Waking, engaging with cellular devices, responding to messages, rushing to work, navigating congested routes, confronting pressures, returning home exhausted, and finding solace only in collapsing onto the sofa, numbing your mind with a screen. And this cycle repeats day after day, week after week, year after year. Yet deep down, something within you recognizes that this isn't truly living. You sense, even if unexpressed, that you're merely surviving. And the most insidious aspect is that life relentlessly progresses, and the more you distract yourself, the further you stray from your authenticity. The reality is that the modern world abounds with distractions. There's no scarcity of voices dictating what you should desire, who you should embody, and what you should undertake to gain acceptance. It's as though you've been trained to prioritize the urgent over the essential. And do you know what's paramount? You, your essence, your mission, your purpose. But tell me, how frequently each day do you genuinely pause to heed your own soul? How often do you close your eyes and question, what do I genuinely desire? Not what your family desires, nor what your friends deem best, nor what society prescribes as success, but what do you desire? The majority are unable to respond, not because they lack an answer, but because they're excessively occupied to cultivate stillness. I witness this continually. Individuals with overflowing schedules, hollow hearts, and dimmed eyes. People who earn handsomely, yet function on autopilot, possessing homes, automobiles, and degrees, yet having lost their inner spark. And they attempt to fill this void with distractions. More social media, more series, more food, more acquisitions, but none of it suffices, because the deficiency lies not in the external realm, but in an internal connection. I assert this with the authority of one who has inhabited both extremes. I've experienced poverty, I've known wealth, I've been lost, I've been guided, and throughout each phase the distinguishing factor was not my external circumstances, but my internal state. Let me share something with you. When I recognized the imperative to unearth my purpose, I knew I wouldn't discover it amid the commotion. So I sought refuge in an isolated locale, a ranch in California. 3 days of silence, reflection, and writing ensued, and it was there that I lucidly understood my reason for existence on this planet. But I'm not suggesting that you must embark on a journey or isolate yourself from the world. You can commence this instant, within your abode, your chamber, your veranda. Select a moment when the world is most tranquil, perhaps at dawn, before sunrise, or at night, when everything falls silent. Procure a notebook, be seated, inhale deeply, and inscribe the following query. If I could spend each day engaging in something that ignites my vitality, what would it be? Initially, no response might surface, and you might feel foolish engaging in this exercise, but persist, because this query possesses power. It begins to nudge dormant layers of your mind, and gradually you'll recall what we tend to forget as we mature, that our soul possesses preferences, callings, and direction. You didn't arrive here by accident, and you're not hearing this by chance. Something within you endeavors to beckon you back home, but it can only succeed if you cease perpetual distraction. Now listen intently, for how much longer will you continue postponing the life you were crafted to inhabit? How many more Mondays must you endure loathing? How many more times will you feign contentment? In 2023, A global study revealed that over 70% of individuals are dissatisfied with their occupations. 70%. Do you know what that signifies? It signifies that the majority are bartering their time, the most invaluable asset that exists, for something that doesn't fulfill them. That's not life. That's distraction. Distraction offers comfort. It demands no courage. It merely necessitates conformity, and conformity is the bane of purpose. If you aspire to discern your reason for being, you must cultivate stillness. You must cease evasion. You must, for the first time in an extended period, heed yourself. And upon doing so, you'll perceive something that perhaps has never been divulged to you, that the response has always resided within, merely muffled by the clamor of a life that was never truly yours. There's a query that few pose, yet one that should be reiterated daily before the mirror. What will remain of me when I'm no longer here? This query isn't morbid, it's sacred. It cuts through superficiality and connects us with what genuinely matters. Because ultimately the quantum you've amassed is inconsequential. What you've bequeathed is what truly counts. The truth is that we're all constructing a legacy. The distinction lies in whether some are doing so consciously, while others are merely leaving a trail. Have you noted that some depart and leave a void, while others vanish and yet remain present? Regardless of the passage of time, those individuals continue to influence, inspire, and touch lives. This is what transpires when one lives aligned with their purpose. Authentic purpose isn't diminutive, selfish, or transient, it's eternal. It transcends your physical existence. It transforms everything you touch, everything you utter, everything you construct. When I scripted my purpose, it wasn't about me, it was about serving, about impacting, about enhancing the environment where I reside, working with pleasure and productivity to expand who I am, from my family to the world. And do you know why? Because I comprehended that my fulfillment doesn't stem from what I possess, but from what I bequeath. And the most remarkable aspect is that the more you live your purpose, the more you realize you're not alone. You begin to perceive the interconnectedness of everything. Your actions reverberate. Your words transform. Your teachings can traverse generations. Life becomes lighter, yet simultaneously more serious, because you now bear something of consequence. And if you're hearing this and contemplating that you have nothing grand to bequeath, allow me to divulge something to you. You needn't be renowned to leave a legacy. You merely need to be authentic. A smile you bestowed on a dismal day might have prevented someone from succumbing to despair. A word you uttered at the opportune moment might have ignited a dormant dream. An attitude you displayed might have altered someone's perception of the world. But the converse is equally true. If you live a life devoid of direction, disconnected and dissatisfied, the legacy you bequeath might be one of frustration, fear, and regret. And that, to me, is the most agonizing prospect, reaching life's terminus with the sensation of having not lived as you should have, of having ignored a calling, of having concealed a talent, of having stifled a message. I've witnessed this transpire with great talents, individuals who possessed everything, fame, success, accolades, yet who dwelled in internal silence, solitary, depressed, disconnected from themselves. Robin Williams exemplified such a case. The world beheld a comedic genius, but inwardly he bore a silent pain, a profound disconnection from his own essence, and despite having induced millions to laugh, he couldn't sustain his own joy. This prompts me to ponder, of what avail is it to entertain the world if you yourself are absent from your own life? You must discern your reason for being here. You must infuse meaning into your existence. For when you know the why, the how materializes, the path reveals itself, and the world aligns. Your purpose must be expansive enough to outlive you. It must continue to resonate even when your voice is silenced, and you needn't await grand achievements to commence constructing it. You commence now with a choice, a daily decision to live with intention. So I invite you to engage in a brief reflection now. If today were your final day, would you have bequeathed something that renders the world better than it was when you arrived? If the response is negative, don't berate yourself, but resolve that tomorrow will differ because you're still here, you still possess time, you can still leave a mark, and when you commence living thus, with the awareness that each gesture matters, each word constructs, and each stride directs, The world shifts and you shift with it. That's the power of purpose. It doesn't conclude with you, it persists with others. Many inquire, how can I unearth my purpose if I detest what I currently do? And I comprehend that query, for I've occupied that precise place, engaging in something I disliked, yet persevering nonetheless. Do you know why? Because there lay concealed a key. What the majority fail to perceive is that purpose doesn't invariably materialize as a divine illumination on a vacant road. Sometimes it's concealed within what you reject. Sometimes it unveils itself when you resolve to perform even what you abhor with excellence. Many presume the necessity to abandon everything, traverse the globe and meditate in the mountains to discover meaning. But in truth, what you require is a fresh perspective. You might be precisely where you're meant to be, yet unaware of it, because you're excessively occupied complaining, resisting, and evading. I've scrubbed floors. I've cleansed lavatories. I've toiled through protracted nights while others slumbered, and I could have mused, this isn't for me. But instead, I resolved to perform my best. And there, amid it all, I commenced perceiving something that radically altered the course of my life. I cherished witnessing individuals transform, witnessing a janitor evolve into an entrepreneur, a man earning $1 hourly becoming the proprietor of numerous enterprises. And it was there, while cleaning offices, that my purpose commenced to clamor. Let me recount a genuine narrative. Once I encountered a man named Marinos, an immigrant with meager earnings, devoid of an automobile, but abounding in aspiration. I regarded him and uttered, "Acquire a car and I'll teach you to drive." And so I did, arising at 5 in the morning to rendezvous with him before sunrise. For weeks we trained together, and shortly thereafter, he launched his own business, then another, then yet another, and he transformed into a successful individual. Now consider the detail. All of this commenced with an occupation that neither he nor I cherished, but we performed it with excellence, and there lies the key. The universe never squanders effort. When you offer your best, even in what you dislike, you commence to expand. You grow internally. You cultivate abilities, fortify your discipline, and awaken your creativity. And it's this growth that inevitably propels you toward your purpose. You might not cherish your current occupation, but if you resolve to perform it with excellence, with integrity, and with a desire for improvement, something within you will open, and then the subsequent step will manifest. Furthermore, you'll commence attracting opportunities, for individuals perceive those who perform with soul, who deliver their best, even without occupying the ideal position. Now I pose to you, how many opportunities have you already relinquished because you awaited the perfect scenario? How many doors have you closed because you deemed that juncture in your life too transient to be taken seriously? Some individuals labor in a supermarket, till while aspiring to be therapists, and they spend their days sullenly, feigning that they don't wish to be there, but what they fail to perceive is that there, at the till, they encounter scores of individuals daily. They can practice listening, empathy, and attentiveness. They can transform each encounter into a rehearsal for their future. Everything hinges on intention, for when you infuse soul into everything you undertake, even what appears insignificant transforms into something sacred. Purpose isn't a final destination, it's a manner of living. It's the how more than the where. It's performing the best possible with what you currently possess. It's giving your utmost with what's within your grasp today. And when you do so, you become magnetic. You commence walking with greater assurance. You commence perceiving with greater clarity. You commence sensing that there's a force within you that has never been activated. Purpose frequently isn't unearthed externally. It's awakened here within when you refuse to perform the minimum and resolve to perform your best, even without applause, even without recognition, even without enjoyment. And it's in this process that your mission commences to emerge, not as a flawless plan, but as a direction, a calling, a feeling that amplifies. And then you perceive that what seemed merely another adverse phase was, in reality, the silent preparation for what you were born to undertake. Your purpose doesn't lie outside you. It's neither lost nor concealed. It's there awaiting you to halt, breathe, and introspect with honesty. And the path to unearthing it needn't span years. It commences now, with the resolution to live more consciously, more aligned, more authentically. Life possesses a peculiar means of delivering answers to us at the moment we cease pursuing them and commence becoming the individual who is prepared to receive them. Now, if you sense that this message resonated with you, and I believe it did, then I wish to invite you to continue. Yes, there's more awaiting you. The next video is displayed on the screen, and it will propel you even deeper into this journey. One more stride, one more step, and you'll be increasingly nearer the life you were born to inhabit. Thank you for remaining with me until now. I await you in the subsequent video. Let us proceed together. Now, if this resonated with you, and I believe it did, I'm inviting you to keep progressing on this journey of self-discovery. Another video is queued up for you, offering a deeper dive and another step forward in understanding your true calling. It's all about continuous growth, and I'll be right here, waiting for you in that next video, ready to guide you as you become even more of the amazing person you're meant to be. Thank you for your time, and I'll be seeing you soon, ready to continue climbing towards a life that's 1% better than it is now.